Evening, all the joinees. Hi, this is Ansu. I welcome you all for the webinar conducted by NGEN Research. We will be beginning shortly. By the time the rest of the attendees join in, we would be looking at the topic that we would be discussing for today's webinar. Firstly, we would be looking at the multiple ways by which we can onboard clients onto our platform, which is the RTA connection and the manual data connection, manual data manner. Next, we would be looking at the ways how you can compare your performance of your portfolio with that of the benchmark. And finally, we would be looking at the contribution analysis as well as the drawdown analysis. And once the session has been completed, the forum would be open for a Q&A session. You can either unmute yourself or you can write down your queries in the chat box. Okay, so let us now begin. This is the landing page on NGEN Markets, wherein the Markets tab is the first tab that opens up. We move on to the Clients tab for the purpose of identifying the ways of onboarding the clients onto the platform. The first way to onboard the client onto the platform is the RTA connection, wherein all the clients that are investing through your ARN numbers or your RIA code would get onboarded onto the platform. This is done through a forwarding and filtering settings that is done onto your mail ID. We capture data from CAMS as well as CARVI. Once the onboarding of the data has been done, the name of all those clients would appear on the left-hand side here, right here. So I'll just click on any of the name of the client and you'll be able to see the latest holdings of the clients. The name of the funds and the latest holdings can be seen here. Once I click on Run Analytics, you'll be able to see a detailed analytics of the portfolio that has been loaded with regards to benchmark that can be seen here. RT connection was the first method. Next is the manual data. Under manual data, the first method is add clients manually. You can see here the name add clients manually. I click on this and you need to put in details of the client. For example, I put in the name of the client. You can put in the PAN number, the mail ID, and the city. Once these details have been put in, you click on add client. This tab helps you to enter in the name of the funds as well as the stock manually. For example, I search in ICICI Blue Chip. I select this fund and maybe a Parag. Okay. Okay. So here you'll be able to see the latest NAV of these funds. Here you have an option either to enter the number of units or the current value. For example, I want 1,000 units for ICICI Blue Chip. And once I click outside, the current value gets captured automatically. In the similar manner, if you enter in the specific amount and you click outside, you'll be able to see the number of units that are equivalent to that specific amount that has been mentioned in. Once the name of all the funds or stocks that you require have been loaded in, you put in either the units or the current value and you click on done. Once this has been done, you will be able to see again the current value of the specific portfolio, and clicking on run analytics would give in a detailed analytics of the portfolio that has been loaded in. The next method would include.
Just 1 second. Can you please tell me which button you click to add the schemes?
Yes, sir. This would be resolved
No, just which button you used to add these schemes. Which button you clicked in when you entered Joel? Where did you add the schemes? I just wanted to know from which option we added Parag, FlexiCap, and ICICI Blue Chip. Which button? Which tab?
Yes, so the moment you go on add clients manually, you click on add a new fund. There is where you can go on searching for the funds and the funds get added.
Achha, here only. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
I would just request all the attendees to please, park all of your questions towards the end of the session. We'll be completing the topic related discussion and then you can ask as many questions as you guys would have. We'll answer all of them one by one.
So the next method of adding a portfolio onto the platform includes the statement analyzer. Once we click on the statement analyzer tab from the launch tab tools, the statement analyzer tab from the launch tab tools open in a new tab, wherein you have an option to upload your ECAS file either from NSDL, CDSL, or CAMS. And these files need to be in PDF format. So I select a specific file, for example, okay. I select a file, I enter in the password, and I click on check file. Once this has been done, you will get a prompt stating that this is a recognized file and that file type can also be seen here. Post this, you click on process and save file. Once the file is processed, you will be able to see the name of the file on the right-hand side right here. Okay, so the name of the file can be seen here. And once you click on this specific report, you will be able to see the list of the funds that form a part of this portfolio. Now, once this has been uploaded, you go back onto the NGEN Markets platform. You click on Add Client from Statement Analyzer. Under this manual data, you see Add Client from Statement Analyzer. You click on this, the specific file can be seen here. The next step would be to click on this plus icon. As soon as you click on this plus icon, the data gets uploaded and you can run analytics for the portfolio that has been onboarded onto the platform. So the next method of onboarding the client portfolio onto the platform is we go onto the portfolios tab, which is right below the clients tab. You can see here a plus icon. You just click on this plus icon and you have an option to manually put in the name of the funds. For example, I take in Kotak Small Cap. I put in the name of this fund, maybe one more quant small cap fund. Okay, so I have taken in these two funds, and here you have an option to change in the weightage of the funds. For example, I wish to give a weightage of maybe 60% to quant small cap and the rest 40% to Kotak small cap. Once this has been done, you can see the allocated total percentage can be seen here. Again, you have an option to equally allocate. So once I click on this, the equal allocation happens for the funds that I have loaded in. Next would be you need to put in a specific name for the portfolio, and you can select the folder in which you wish to save your portfolio. Once this has been done, you click on create. This is an important thing because if you do not click on create and you just click on run, you will be able to see the analytics of the portfolio at that time, but this file won't get saved onto the platform. So the important step would be to click on create, and post creation of this portfolio, you can click on run. So once you click on run, you will be able to see the analytics of the funds that have been loaded manually from the portfolio section. Okay. So next is the method wherein again we come to the portfolios tab. We click on this plus icon and here we see load ISIN from Excel. Here we require in total 2 columns. The first column needs to be the ISIN number and the second column can either be the percentage or the amount or the units. For example, I take in from here the ISIN number and the percentage. And I paste it here. So here I have taken in the ISIN number of 4 funds and the specific percentage I have taken in. Now next we need to determine what has been taken. For here I have taken the percentage. So I click on percentage. Accordingly, we determine what has been taken and we click on this specific section. Once this has been input, we click on validate input. So here you can see the funds that have been showing up here with the specific percentage that I have put in. Once this has been done, I put in a name. Again, the process remains the same. I select the folder and I click on create. So here you can see the performance of your portfolio that you have loaded in a manual format. Next, here you can see that a auto benchmarking has been set up, which states reference index 2. This benchmarking has been done based on the asset allocation. So here, reference index 2 denotes 90% Nifty TRI and 10% CCIL bond index, which basically states the allocation of equity and debt in the portfolio that I have loaded in. Here again, you have an option to select any of the index as per your requirement and see the performance of your portfolio that you have loaded in against the benchmark that you wish to check the performance with. You can take in the benchmark from TRI, NSE, BSE, as well as World. We also have provided an option wherein you can create your own custom benchmark. For that, we go on this custom tab, click on manage custom indice, and here you can see a list of indices. So you can click on multiple indices as per your requirement. For example, I take Nifty 200 and Nifty 500 and I give in the weightage as per my requirement. For example, I wish to give Nifty 200 a weightage of 60% and Nifty 500 a weightage of 40%. Once this has been done, you give in a name for this specific custom index that you have created and you click on Save Custom Index. This gets saved onto your system and you will be able to see the performance. So here you can see the custom index that I had created. I just click on this and you can see how my portfolio is performing against that of the custom index that I have created. So here I select the original index which was there. Next, you can see you have an option to change the start date here as well. You can either customize or create your own specific start date, or there exists a specific time chart that have been input. So I select 5 years ago. I wish to check the performance of my portfolio against the benchmark from a duration of 25 December 2018 to 2023 December, which is a 5 years duration. So here you can see a line chart has been provided wherein the blue line shows in the performance of my portfolio and the black line shows in the performance of the benchmark. So you can say that post 2021, my portfolio has outperformed my benchmark that I have selected. That can also be seen here. The blue peaks shows the performance of your portfolio, which has outperformed the benchmark. And prior to 2021, you can see here, the portfolio has underperformed in comparison to that of the benchmark. And this information can also be seen in a tabulated format, wherein you can see the cumulative return, which is the absolute return. It shows 157 for my portfolio, and for my benchmark, it shows a cumulative return of 106%. So this basically shows that my portfolio has outperformed my benchmark in this given duration of 5 years. And the axis, that is the alpha, can be seen here, the cumulative axis on benchmark, which is 51%. Now, in order to generate a return of 157%, what was the risk that was undertaken by my portfolio? That can be seen here under annual volatility or the standard deviation. So in order to generate a return of 157%, my portfolio took a risk of 13%, while the benchmark took a risk of 17%, which is higher when you compare it with the portfolio. So you can say that my portfolio has given a better return with a lower level of risk when you compare it with that of the benchmark in this given duration of 5 years. And this can also be seen in terms of the Sharpe ratio, which is the risk adjusted return, which is higher for my portfolio when you compare it with that of the benchmark. Now we come on to the historical VAR as well as the implied VAR. VAR mainly stands for value at risk. This shows the downside risk, the value of my portfolio that is at a risk of losing. So here you can see a total of 95% has been shown. So it shows a confidence interval of 95%, which states that there is a 5% probability that if history were to repeat itself, my portfolio would go down by a total of 19%, while my benchmark would go down by a total of 23%. In other words, you can say that if you invest 100 rupees in both the portfolio as well as the benchmark, the capital erosion for my portfolio would be 19 rupees and the capital erosion for my benchmark would be 23 rupees. Historical VAR form calculates on the basis of the returns that has been generated, and implied VAR is calculated on the basis of historical volatility. Next, we come to the up capture ratio and the down capture ratio. These ratios mainly shows the resilience of the portfolio against that of the benchmark in a bull as well as in a bear run. So now in the up capture ratio, all those months are considered, or all those months are captured wherein my benchmark has generated a positive return, irrespective of whether my portfolio has generated a negative return or a positive return. For example, here you can see my benchmark in the month of April has generated a positive return of 0.96. And at the same time, my portfolio had generated a negative return of 0.66%, which shows that my portfolio had underperformed in this specific month. And in the next month, that is May 2019, my portfolio has outperformed in comparison to that of the benchmark. My portfolio generated a return of 2.31%, while my benchmark generated a return of 1.80%. Now, all these months wherein my benchmark has generated a positive return were considered, and a cumulative of all these have been taken. And that is what can be seen here: returns for the portfolio and returns for the benchmark, which is the cumulation. Up capture ratio is calculated by dividing the asset return with that of the benchmark return. So you can say that higher is the up capture ratio, better it is for the portfolio. And similarly, converse is that for the down capture ratio. All those months wherein my benchmark has shown in a negative return are captured, irrespective of whether my asset has shown in a positive return or a negative return. For example, here in the month of September 2020, my benchmark showed in a negative return of 0.84. And at the same time, my asset showed in, that is my portfolio, showed in a positive return of 1.44. So you can say the portfolio outperformed my benchmark. So we consider all these months wherein the benchmark has given in a negative return, and accumulation of cumulative value of all these returns are calculated. Down capture ratio is also calculated in the similar manner. Returns of asset is divided with that of the returns of the benchmark, and lower is the down capture ratio, better is the performance. Next, we come to the monthly chart. Here you can see in this given duration of 5 years, which ranges from December 2018 to December 2023, in total there have been 61 months. Out of these 61 months, 40 months are such wherein the performance of the portfolio was up, and 21 months were such wherein the performance of the portfolio was down. So you can see the average as well as the volatility of the portfolio performance in those respective months. The best performance can be seen here, which is best performance can be seen here, which is 10.673 in the month wherein the portfolio had performed best, and the worst performance can be seen here, which is 26.15 right here. So in the month of May 2020, the performance was the worst in comparison to all the months that have been calculated for this 5-year time period. Next, we come into the contributions tab. The contributions tab shows in what is the percentage of contribution that each fund has provided to my portfolio as a whole. So here you can see a table wherein a list of all the funds can be seen, and the next column shows in total return. This total return states that if my portfolio had just any of these individual fund, the return generated by this fund would have been maybe 218. For example, if my portfolio had just Kotak Small Cap in its portfolio, the return that would have been generated in this duration of 5 years would have been 218. This column shows in the individual return that is generated by the fund. Now, based on the allocation of the fund in my portfolio, you can see the return generated by these funds. So you can see that Kotak Small Cap had in an allocation of 34%, and based on this percentage, it had generated a return of 45.7% in this duration of 5 years, wherein the return has been standardized to a total of 100%. So here you can see that Kotak Small Cap had contributed the maximum to this portfolio, whereas HDFC Corporate Bond had contributed the minimum. The least amount of contribution came in from HDFC Kotak Bank. And this also helps you to identify like whether you should change in the weightage of the funds in the portfolio. For example, Nippon India just has 23%, but its return generation was 28%. And at the same time, ICICI had a greater weightage, which is 29%, but it generated a return of only 21%. So just by clicking on these bar graphs, you can see in the details or the performance, the NAV movements can be seen here of these funds. Next, we come to the drawdown analysis. Drawdown analysis helps us to identify the strength of the portfolio to bounce back from any of the loss that has occurred. So here you can see a list of 10 drawdowns have been shown, the highest being on the top. So the highest drawdown that has occurred in this duration of 5 years happens to be 32%, which started on 7th February 2020 and it ended on 23rd March, wherein my weighted average price of the portfolio was at 115 and it started falling till 77 rupees. And post this date of 23rd March, it took a total of 162 days for this portfolio to recover, which was on 4th November 2020. So this means that 162 days after 23rd March, my portfolio was able to cross this start price of 115. So maybe somewhere here. Okay, right. Near about here. So it was able to cross the start price, which was 115. So it took a total of 162 days to cross this specific start price. And you can see in the list of all the top 10 drawdowns that has been experienced by the portfolio in this duration of 5 years. So here you can see we have an option to download all the reports that you require. It can be in PDF format as well as in the PPT format. I'll just show you a PDF format. So this is how the PDF would look. These all reports would be co-branded. You will be able to see the name or your logo or right here on the left-hand side. And this is how the PDF report would look like. You also have an option to download the PowerPoint presentation. This can also be downloaded in terms of rupees. For example, I enter in a rupees of total 5 lakh and I wish to see how it is allocated. So this PPT is an editable PPT. You have an option to insert in slides as per your requirement. Okay, so here the total 5 lakh that I had put in while generating the PPT has been allocated based on the funds that form a part of my portfolio. So here you can see the PPT has shown in all the asset allocation, the rolling returns, the historical performance can be seen here. Now you can also take section specific screenshots. For example, I take in the screenshot of a contributions tab. Here you have an option to take the screenshot. Just for now, I'll just use this snipping tool. I just take in a screenshot. So I have copied the specific screenshot and I paste it on this specific section. So you can adjust the size as per your requirement, and these PPTs can be sent across to your clients. And again, we have an option to share links with your client, wherein you just click on this share link that you see here, and you just copy this specific link, and you can load this in a new tab. So your client would be able to see the details of the portfolio, the performance of the portfolio, of their specific portfolio can be seen here. All the tabs that we had seen there can also be viewed right here. Okay. That is about it for the topic related session. If anyone has any query, the forum is open. You can either unmute yourself or you can write down in the chat box.
Hello, Prajakta ji. Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, this is Amit. Prajakta, there is an error which I had pointed to your team around 2 months ago. It's still not resolved. Once we print the PPT
Yes.
portfolio, in
Yes.
that the benchmark return columns are missing. It's still not rectified.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So basically, we fixed this for the PDF. Initially this was an error with the PDF as well, and the PDF, if you see now, it does have a comparative column
PDF
for
had
the
2
benchmark.
months ago also. PDF had this, but the PPT doesn't have it. So I am
Yes.
tired of copying pasting from PDF and putting it in presentation. So please see if the PPT thing can be resolved.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We have already, taken this as a to-do item. This will be fixed in the next release.
Because for the past 2 months, this has been totally. You see in this slide, we
Yes.
only see the ratios. We don't see the benchmark figures.
Correct.
So this should be resolved. This shouldn't be that big a thing because this is totally making the software useless. Already the market wrap report problem is yet to be solved. So please kindly ask your team to speeden up this thing. Because we are taking PPTs, the PPT is a very good thing. But since the benchmark figures don't come up and we have to copy paste from PDF. So that would be nice if it could be done in next 15-20 days.
Yes, yes. This is already in the to-do list. This should be done.
No, thank you.
Hi, Prajakta.
Yes.
Girish here.
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my query is related to that portfolio section.
Correct.
Okay, my query is, okay, so once I either I'll do it manually or through RTA, once a portfolio is uploaded into the portfolio section, is this a
Correct.
because portfolios generally have a SIPs that come in incrementally into the portfolio, right? But I
Yes.
believe this is only a one-time exercise wherein once I upload it, that would be it will not add the incremental SIPs to it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So correct. So basically, what we do here with the RTA connection is we capture the latest holdings. Right now, for an example, this is a portfolio of a client Pawan Bakshi. Right, he might have a SIP going on in this particular fund, but as on the date of the update, I mean, this typically updates for your logins every week for Karvi and twice a week for CAMS. So whenever the update will happen, it will take into consideration the units that have as a result accumulated as on a specific date, right? And let's say a SIP installment comes in at a period of time in the next week before the update really happens. Then when the next week update is done, the units will be accordingly increased, right? Because the installment has gone in, right? So what we do is we capture the latest current holdings of the client portfolios, whether these have accumulated from a SIP investment or a lump sum investment. That is not specifically categorized separately. Ultimately, the existing units and of course the back testing of that.
Okay. Yeah, fine. So this can only happen if it is through RTA uploads.
Yes.
Then manually it is not possible, right?
Correct. You will have to upload the statement next month again. Then it will take into effect the additional units.
I understand that. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. No problem.
Hello.
Yes.
Prajakta, this is Kaustubh here.
Yes.
I had two queries with respect to the fund page that we go through. So, for example, right now we were comparing HDFC midcap and PGI midcap.
Yes.
So if you see in both the things, the performance statistics and the graphs, so
Yes.
they don't seem to be alike, because in PGI mid cap, the performance statistics are very low as compared to the benchmark, but the graph shows otherwise.
Just a second. You were speaking about two funds, right?
Correct. So one was HDFC mid cap,
Yes.
and another was PGI mid cap.
One second. Let me just load them. Just a second. Yes, so HDFC mid cap and okay, fine. So you were speaking about the performance statistics, correct? Hello, am I audible?
Yes. So we are
Yes.
so we compared it on 5 years.
Yes.
Chart.
Okay. So previously we were comparing a portfolio. This is a single fund analytics.
It's a single, correct.
Yes, correct.
So if you see here, if the performance statistics table,
Yes.
the chart is, I mean, the 3 year or 1 year, it is
Yes.
1 year is there is not much of outperformance,
Correct.
but 3 year there is.
Hmm.
So, but in other case, in case of PGI mid cap,
One second. PGI mid cap, yes. Again, 5-year period, right?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so here the benchmark has actually outperformed in 1 year or even 3
Correct.
years as well, right?
Correct.
Now in the graph,
Yes.
this graph, it shows that the asset is outperforming, right?
Yes. So that's because we are analyzing this for a 5-year period, right? So if your start point was 5 years ago, then your portfolio definitely outperforms your benchmark. But let us quickly change this to a 3-year period and you will see exact converse picture, whatever is visible right here. Let us quickly change this to a 3-year period. If your start price or rather your, the day you put in was a 3 years ago period, your portfolio would have in fact underperformed the benchmark, and that is exactly clearly visible here. So that 5-year outperformance was coming, rather it was attributable to your entry point in 2018, which was a brilliant entry point, right?
Right. Okay. Got it. So
So this
basically
corroborates.
that graph corroborates with the total period that we are selecting.
Absolutely.
Okay. Another point was the annual volatility that we see here in
Yes.
asset.
Yes.
So this, if we compare it with the compare section, if we get that into compare section, so that differs. Whereas I suppose annual volatility is the same as standard deviation, correct?
Yes, that's correct. One second. Let me just go to the compare section. This is PGIM, right? Okay, so PGIM and mid cap opportunities. You need to ensure the start dates are same. So in this case, I think we were analyzing for a 3-year period. You simply go here in the compare section and put in the start date, because the default standard deviation that you will see here is since the inception of that particular fund. In order to ensure you're making an apples to apples comparison, you need to put in a start date which is similar to what you were analyzing that time, right? So 2020, I think it was 24th of December, and you click on go. Now the standard deviation numbers have to match, right? So this is 14.89. I think previously also it was, I think 14.89, if I'm not wrong. One second, let me just check. So here again, 3 years ago, look at that. It's exactly matching annual volatility, 14.89. And in the compare section as well, it's 14.89 standard deviation. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. So I said by default it is since inception in the
yes, absolutely, yes. So unless and until you change the start date here, the period or the data that you will see is since the inception of the respective funds.
Okay.
Only when you put in a customized start date will it take into consideration the standard deviation or the Sharpe ratio numbers for that period under consideration.
Okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
similarly, it works in the fund section as well. In fact, in the fund section, all the data, the Sharpe ratio, standard deviation, everything is since the inception of the respective funds. The moment you take them to the compare section, you have an option to customize the start date
Okay.
as per your requirement.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Okay.
हेलो।
Yes.
हाँ, ये जब ISIN एक्सेल से हम लोग अपलोड करेंगे डेटा को, तो
Yes.
जितने क्लाइंट्स है उतने ही अपलोड करने पड़ेंगे ना उतनी एक्सेल फाइल हम।
सर आप क्या बोल रहे हो, ISIN का अपलोड बोल
हाँ
रहे हो,
जैसे
राइट?
क्योंकि मेरा तो RIS से कुछ नहीं, वहाँ से कुछ नहीं आया क्योंकि मैं नेशनल डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर के साथ अटैच हूँ मैं।
अच्छा,
तो
सब
मुझे,
ब्रोकर है।
हाँ मैं सब ब्रोकर हूँ मैं NG के साथ इनफैक्ट। तो जैसे ISIN और हम उस पे वो डाल देंगे नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स, तो वो हर क्लाइंट की हमें अलग अलग फाइल बना के डालनी पड़ेगी ना एक्सेल फाइल।
यस, करेक्ट है सर, करेक्ट है। हर क्लाइंट की अलग अलग फाइल एक्सेल में यू हैव टू कॉपी, एंड आपको एंजन मार्केट्स के पोर्टफोलियो में अलग अलग नाम से सेव करनी होगी, तो फिर वो अपडेट होगी, राइट दैट।
और सेकंडली ये है कि जैसे हर महीने के में ड्यू टू SIP वो नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स बदलते रहेंगे,
हाँ,
तो वो हमें एक्सेल फाइल दोबारा से फिर अपने हर
दोबारा
महीने
से
अपलोड
करनी
करना।
पड़ेगी। दैट इज करेक्ट, दैट इज
अच्छा,
करेक्ट।
इसमें एक पॉइंट और है, जैसे हम किसी का पोर्टफोलियो बना रहे हैं,
हाँ।
तो बहुत से क्लाइंट्स का क्या होता है, कुछ फंड्स जो हैं उनके
हम्म,
डायरेक्ट भी लगे हुए होते हैं।
हाँ।
तो क्या ऐसा हो सकता है ना कि जो हम पोर्टफोलियो बनाएंगे
हम्म,
उसके अंदर हम डायरेक्ट भी लगा सकते हैं, और जो हम रेगुलर हमारे थ्रू लगे हुए हैं, तो
हम्म।
दोनों एक पोर्टफोलियो में आ जाएंगे, उसके लिए अलग अलग पोर्टफोलियो बनाना पड़ेगा?
नहीं सर, एब्सोल्युटली साथ में आ सकते हैं। आपको
हाँ।
सिर्फ पोर्टफोलियो से, जब भी आप पोर्टफोलियो बनाओगे
हाँ।
उस टाइम पे वो फंड्स अकॉर्डिंगली चूज करने हैं। फॉर एन
हाँ।
एग्जांपल, लेट्स से एक क्लाइंट के पास पराग पारेख का जो फ्लेक्सी कैप है, 1 सेकेंड, वो
डायरेक्ट है।
वो डायरेक्ट है, ठीक है? तो यहाँ
हाँ।
पे एक डायरेक्ट ऑप्शन है, तो यहाँ पे आप चूज करते टाइम वो वाला फंड चूज कर लेना।
ओके
ऑन द
ओके।
अदर हैंड, लेट्स से कोई एक एक्सेस मिड कैप है जो रेगुलर है, आपके आइदर RI कोड या फिर ARN कोड के थ्रू लिया हुआ है, तो राइट, व्हेन यू लोड दिस, आप उसको रेगुलर वाला लोड कर देना। तो यू कैन इन अ सिंगल पोर्टफोलियो आप डायरेक्ट एज वेल एज रेगुलर दोनों फंड साथ में ऐड कर सकते हो।
ओके। अच्छा, जैसे हम इसके अंदर जो क्लाइंट का डेटा डालेंगे, इसमें नाम डाल लेते हैं या, तो वो आपके पोर्टल पे जाके सेव होगा ना आपकी क्लाउड के ऊपर?
सर आपके लॉगिन में सेव होगा, हमारे क्लाउड में देयर इज नो रिमोट एक्सेस दैट इज पॉसिबल, आपके ही क्लाउड में सिर्फ सेव होता है इन योर लॉगिन, राइट?
मतलब उसकी एक्सेस NGN के पास रहेगी फिर
नहीं
हैंड-।
होगी, नहीं
अच्छा।
होगी सर,
ओके ओके।
ओनली द
अच्छा मैं ये,
यूजर हैज एक्सेस।
ओके थैंक यू। अब मेरा पॉइंट ये था कि जैसे आज हमने किसी क्लाइंट का डेटा डाला, मान लो सपोज करो उसका, इसका मिराई एसेट का मिड कैप में पैसा लगा हुआ है, और
हाँ,
उसके अंदर उसके 10 लाख रुपीस लगे हुए हैं।
हाँ,
अभी 10 लाख रुपीस हो सकता है 5 साल पहले उसने लमसम में लगाए हैं, या
करेक्ट,
हो सकता है कि 50,000 रुपीस करके 20 SIP आ गई हो। तो हम
करेक्ट,
तो उसकी फिगर आज की डाल देंगे। तो
करेक्ट।
तो NGN से हमें देखा जाए क्लाइंट का सीधा सीधा कितना रिटर्न आया वो पता नहीं चलेगा, उसके थ्रू फंड क्या बिहेव कर रहा है वो पता चलेगा।
एब्सोल्युटली, एकदम बराबर। सो बेसिकली पोर्टफोलियो का XIRR नहीं निकलेगा क्योंकि ट्रांजैक्शंस कैप्चर नहीं हो रहे। उसका बैक
हाँ।
टेस्टिंग, मतलब ये पोर्टफोलियो में जो भी फंड्स है वो कैसे बिहेव कर रहे हैं, कैसे परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, वो डेफिनेटली समझेगा, डिसीजन मेकिंग में हेल्प करेगा ये टूल आपको।
हाँ, बल्कि उसका जो बाकी चीजें हैं वो हमें अपने सिस्टम मॉड्यूल्स में
ट्रांजैक्शन
देखना।
रिपोर्टिंग, यस, बैक
हाँ,
ऑफिस
उसमें
जो
देख।
आपका ट्रांजैक्शन रिपोर्टिंग होगा, वहां से
हाँ।
XIRR निकलेगा क्योंकि वहां पे ट्रांजैक्शन कैप्चरिंग होती है, राइट?
अच्छा, पोर्टफोलियो को जब हम बनाते हैं उसके अंदर एक फंक्शन आता है पोर्टफोलियो इंप्रूव करने का,
करेक्ट।
उसका क्या पर्पज है उसका?
हाँ, सो मैं आपको बता देती हूँ, एक ही बस एक फंड ऐड कर लेती हूँ मैं यहाँ पे। सो ये 3 फंड्स है लेट्स से पोर्टफोलियो में, करंटली इक्वली एलोकेटेड है सब,
हाँ।
ठीक है? लेकिन अभी जैसे ही आप ये पोर्टफोलियो बना रहे हो, लेट्स से आपको ये बनाना है और these 3 फंड्स फॉर अ कंजर्वेटिव इन्वेस्टर, तो
हाँ।
आप कंजर्वेटिव इन्वेस्टर के लिए उसका जो एलोकेशन है ये 3 फंड्स का, वो कैसे
हाँ।
रखोगे? तो
हाँ।
वो चीज आपको ऑप्टिमाइजेशन में बहुत यूज करे, हेल्पफुल होगा। सो इवन इफ यू आप एक कोई मॉडल पोर्टफोलियो बनाओगे, आप उसको इम्प्रूव करोगे, तो आपको एग्जैक्ट उसका एलोकेशन कितना होना चाहिए, ऑप्टिमल एलोकेशन इन ऑर्डर टू मीट द क्लाइंट्स रिस्क एपेटाइट, ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो ये आपका करंट एलोकेशन है,
हाँ।
राइट? 33% ईच।
हाँ।
33% अगर ईच फंड में एलोकेशन है तो आपका रिटर्न पोर्टफोलियो का कितना बनता है? तो 17.98, क्लोज टू 18% बनता है। लेकिन अगर आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव है आपके क्लाइंट का टू मिनिमाइज द वॉलेटिलिटी, तो आपका एलोकेशन कैसा होना चाहिए? तो ये वाला सजेस्ट कर रहा है ये एलोकेशन, तो हाईएस्ट एलोकेशन एक्सेस मिड कैप को जाना चाहिए। क्यों? क्योंकि उसका वॉलेटिलिटी कम है सबसे, राइट? इसके लिए ये बता रहा है ये। सो बेसिकली एलोकेशन बताएगा, वी डू नॉट ऐड न्यू फंड्स या फिर वी डू नॉट इवन डिलीट एनी फंड्स, जो एग्जिस्टिंग फंड्स है उसी का एलोकेशन ऑप्टिमल कैसे हो। अब ये मैथमेटिकल मॉडल है, अभी ये फंड, ये 3 फंड पोर्टफोलियो के लिए काम नहीं कर, इट्स गिविंग अ लिटिल हैप्पीजार्ड रिजल्ट, लेकिन आप मोस्ट फंड्स के लिए आप चेक करोगे तो इट विल गिव यू गुड रिजल्ट्स। आपका रिटर्न मैक्सिमाइज करने के लिए आपका ऑप्टिमल एलोकेशन क्या होना चाहिए, आपका वॉलेटिलिटी अगर मिनिमाइज करना है तो ऑप्टिमल एलोकेशन क्या होना चाहिए, वो सब के लिए बताएगा।
जैसे एक सवाल जिसमें मैं शो भी कर रहा था अभी आपका,
हाँ
ये रैंकिंग मॉडल वैल्यू मॉडल में क्या फर्क होता है?
हाँ श्योर, मैं बता देती हूँ। सो ये जो हमारा रैंकिंग मॉडल्स होता है वो कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड अप्रोच फॉलो करता है। ऑन दी अदर हैंड जो वैल्यू मॉडल्स है वो थोड़ा बैलेंस अप्रोच फॉलो करता है। नाउ लेट अस टेक एन एग्जांपल। फॉर एन एग्जांपल, ये जो हम फर्स्ट कॉलम आप कंपेयर करिए फिर सिर्फ रैंकिंग रिटर्न्स का और रिटर्न्स वैल्यू का, ठीक है। इन दिस केस रैंकिंग रिटर्न्स वाले मॉडल ने सबसे हाईएस्ट एलोकेशन किसको दिया है, क्वांट स्मॉल कैप को दिया है 32% एलोकेशन। क्यों दिया इसको, क्योंकि इन दिस लिस्ट ऑफ फंड्स क्वांट ने सबसे ज्यादा बेहतर रिटर्न्स जनरेट किए, देयरफॉर इट गॉट रैंक नंबर 1। ओके, अभी सेकंड हाईएस्ट रिटर्न एलोकेशन किसको है, तो बंधन स्टर्लिंग वैल्यू को है, विच इज द एलोकेशन ऑफ 16%, विच इज एग्जैक्टली हाफ ऑफ 32, राइट। अभी दैट मीन्स बंधन स्टर्लिंग वैल्यू का रैंक नंबर 2 होगा विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू रिटर्न्स, ठीक है। अभी ये रैंकिंग रिटर्न्स मॉडल ये कंसिडर नहीं करेगा कि क्वांट का लेट्स से रिटर्न होगा 20% और बंधन स्टर्लिंग वैल्यू करेगा 19.5%, तो दोनों के रिटर्न के एक्चुअल डिफरेंस में सिर्फ 0.5% का डिफरेंस है, लेकिन एलोकेशन में देखिए क्लोज टू हाफ, मतलब 15% का डिफरेंस है, राइट। तो ये रैंकिंग मॉडल्स वो टेक इनटू कंसिडरेशन नहीं करेगा, एकदम कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड ऑल एग्स इन वन बास्केट वाला अप्रोच करेगा फॉलो। ऑन द अदर हैंड वैल्यू मॉडल क्या करेगा, वो उसके अंडरलाइन का रिटर्न भी देखेगा, ठीक है। क्वांट सबसे पहले आया है रेस में, लेकिन उसने 20% जनरेट किया है, बंधन स्टर्लिंग वैल्यू भी क्लोज सेकंड आया है, उसका रिटर्न 19.5 है, तो मतलब डेफिनेटली क्वांट को सबसे ज्यादा वेटेज होगा, लेकिन क्लोज सेकंड वेटेज बंधन स्टर्लिंग वैल्यू को भी होगा, और वही किया है देखिए वैल्यू मॉडल ने। क्वांट स्मॉल कैप को दिया 14% विच इज द हाईएस्ट, लेकिन 10.93% दिया बंधन स्टर्लिंग वैल्यू को। वो अप्रिशिएट करता है ये फैक्ट कि ठीक है दिस अ क्लोज सेकंड ये फंड आया है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू जनरेटिंग रिटर्न्स।
तो इसका जो वैल्यू मॉडल है वो क्वालिटेटिव ज्यादा जाता है और रैंकिंग क्वांटिटेटिव पे ज्यादा फोर्स करता है इसका।
हाँ, वैल्यू मॉडल थोड़ा बैलेंस अप्रोच फॉलो करेगा, उसका एक्चुअल अंडरलाइंग वैल्यूज कितना है रिटर्न्स का वो कंसिडर करेगा।
ओके। अच्छा, दूसरा जैसे हम वो एक आपकी यूटिलिटी है उसका मैं नाम बोलूँ, जिसके अंदर जो है जो पुरानी इवेंट्स है उसके अंदर कितना रिकवर करा है वो शो करता है, और जिसके अंदर
यस,
हमारे पास ऑप्शन होती है हाँ सिनेरियोस की, तो
सिनेरियोस, यस
हम कस्टम सिनेरियो भी बना सकते हैं। तो
यस।
अब कस्टम सिनेरियो के अंदर अब ये स्टार्ट डेट और एंड डेट कैसे लें, अब ये कैसे, इसका तो आइडिया लगाना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है कि कब वो
सही है।
चीज खत्म हुई।
नहीं श्योर, अभी वो तो दैट रियली डिपेंड्स अपॉन आप कौन सा सिनेरियो हाईलाइट करना चाहेंगे। अभी फॉर एन
ओके।
एग्जांपल मुझे हाईलाइट करना है या फिर मुझे देखना है कि कैसे रहा ये पोर्टफोलियो का परफॉर्मेंस व्हेन दे वर अभी रिसेंटली।
आजकल तो ये रशिया यूक्रेन का ज्यादा फेमस चल रहा है
या रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर, राइट। अभी
हाँ
अभी उसका एंड डेट तो नो वन नोज, राइट। तो
हाँ
हम क्या
हाँ।
ही कर सकते हैं, वी कैन टेक अजम्पशन एंड देन वी कैन सी दैट ओके इफ वी कंसिडर, मतलब जब भी वॉर डिक्लेयर हो गया था उस टाइम का पीरियड डाल के वी कैन चेक कि जो वॉलेटिलिटी था मार्केट्स में वो कैसे परफॉर्म किया पोर्टफोलियो ने। फॉर एन एग्जांपल हम रिसेंट जो पोस्ट दिवाली जो अपमूव आया है पूरे मार्केट्स में, अगर वो भी हम एग्जांपल ले तो उसका सिनेरियो का नाम हो सकता है मे बी दिवाली 2023 या फिर इलेक्शंस का रिजल्ट्स भी आया राइट इन 2023 दिसंबर। तो उसको वी कैन जस्ट क्रिएट अ सिनेरियो कॉल्ड एज अप मूव इन मार्केट्स आफ्टर दिवाली, राइट। सो आई विल जस्ट पुट दैट एज अ दिवाली 2023 सिनेरियो। अभी उसका स्टार्ट डेट आई एम गोइंग टू टेक आर्बिट्ररीली, आई एम गोइंग टू टेक समथिंग लाइक अ 1 नवंबर, क्योंकि उसके पहले तो देयर वाज अप मूव, वॉलेटिलिटी था मार्केट्स में, उसके बाद सिग्निफिकेंटली अप मूव आया है। तो आई विल टेक लेट्स से 28 और 27 ऑफ दिसंबर एंड आई विल क्लिक ऑन सेव कस्टम सिनेरियो। जैसे ही मैं ये करती हूँ आई क्लिक ऑन दिस एंड दिस इज द पीरियड नाउ दैट आई एम गोइंग टू एनालाइज। ये पीरियड में क्या हुआ, तो मेरे बेंचमार्क ने 11% दिया, मैं पोर्टफोलियो में 12.95% दिया। सो दैट रियली डिपेंड्स, इट्स अ वेरी सब्जेक्टिव कॉल। आपको जो डेट्स चाहिए
समझ
होते हैं
गया मैं।
आप यू कैन टेक दैट लाइक दैट।
ठीक है। अच्छा, एक यहाँ पे होता है यूटिलिटी है, व्हाट्स इज द रोल ऑफ फंड मैनेजर एपीआई एक्सपर्ट एपीआई, वो क्या चीज होती है?
सॉरी,
फंड एक्सपर्ट एपीआई, ये मैंने आपके
फंड
कई।
एक्सपर्ट, फंड
हाँ
एक्सपर्ट, ओके ओके,
एपीआई।
राइट राइट। सो बेसिकली वो फंड एक्सपर्ट जो है वो एक बैक ऑफिस सॉफ्टवेयर है।
हाँ,
अगर आपके पास इसका सब्सक्रिप्शन है तो यू कैन
ये अलग से होता
ऑनबोर्ड।
ये अलग से होता है कोई ये?
हाँ, सर ये दिस इज मतलब ये इंजन और इसका वैसे कुछ डायरेक्टली मतलब दिस इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ द प्लेटफॉर्म। ओके, ये
ओके
थर्ड पार्टी सब्सक्रिप्शन है, हमने सिर्फ उनसे एपीआई कोलैबोरेट करके रखा है, तो मतलब आपका ऑलरेडी अकाउंट होगा तो आप आपका जो भी बैक ऑफिस है उसको डायरेक्टली लिंक कर सकते हो इंजन के साथ। अगर आपके पास नहीं होगा एंड यू वांट टू गो टू दिस बैक ऑफिस सॉफ्टवेयर तो यू कैन कनेक्ट विद आवर बिजनेस हेड और हम एक आपको थोड़ा डिस्काउंट में वो
इसका
यू कैन
फंक्शन क्या
गेट।
होता है? चलो वो तो अलग, वो तो कमर्शियल वाली बात हो गई, पर इसका
राइट,
फंक्शन क्या है इसका?
सो देखिए ये ट्रांजैक्शन रिपोर्टिंग करता है बेसिकली बैक ऑफिस का। आई इन्वेस्ट वेल, रेड विजन जो काम करता है आपको काम करके देता है, वही चीज है ये फंड एक्सपर्ट का। इट्स अ बैक ऑफिस सॉफ्टवेयर जो ट्रांजैक्शन कैप्चर करेगा, वो सब कैप्चर करेगा।
अच्छा, ट्रांजेक्शन वगैरह कैप्चर करके सारा ये
हाँ
बना के
हाँ
देगा।
हाँ,
ओके ओके, मैं
करेक्ट,
समझ गया आपकी।
बैक ऑफिस सॉफ्टवेयर है।
अच्छा, एक आप यहाँ पे ना यूटिलिटी है एनएफओ नाम से, एनएफओ।
हाँ,
तो एनएफओ का ये क्या बताता है कि एनएफओ जब आ रहा है वो उसमें लगाना चाहिए, उसके डेटा देता है, या एनएफओ निकलने के बाद उसका फिर डेटा क्या देता है? इसका मतलब पर्पज क्या है एनएफओ यहाँ पे लिखने का यहाँ पे?
गॉट इट। सो
Prajakta,
जैसे
I think for Mr. Garg, you arrange a proper training session so that he understands all the other points. I think that would be the right approach. I
श्योर
think
सर,
he has a couple of queries which can be addressed in a proper training
नो
session.
प्रॉब्लम, नो प्रॉब्लम, नो प्रॉब्लम, नो
Yeah,
प्रॉब्लम।
Mr. Garg, I think it is better because today's topic is supposed to be covered. If you have any other query, I think we can do a one-to-one training session for you.
या नो प्रॉब्लम, नो प्रॉब्लम।
Prajakta, please coordinate with him, with your team, so that there's a
Sure, sir.
one-to-one training session for Mr. Garg.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll do
Yeah,
that.
thank you so much.
Hello.
यस
Yeah, myself Shravan speaking.
यस।
This is basically for the mutual fund research options or the equity options also available here.
Are you saying about underlying of a portfolio which has derivative positions or options? Is that what you're trying to ask?
In equity positions. So one client who has a mutual fund also and a direct stock investment also.
Oh, yes.
Can the stock investment be uploaded here?
Yes, they can be. So, if you upload the ECAS statement, right, so it will capture both mutual funds as well as stocks because it's a NSDL or CDSL ECAS. Alternatively, what you can do is you can simply, click on edit or save as. This was a mutual fund portfolio, right? You can simply add a stock here. Let's say for that matter, a ICICI Bank, right? This is a direct stock holding, and I've added that stock here. Maybe I can add one more. Right, so you can do that. It could be portfolio analytics for stocks plus mutual funds as well. That is possible.
No, clients used to get or buy stocks in different phase by phase manner. So that way, every day their stock holding also change
No.
accordingly. And
No, so basically the automatic capture for the RTA connection, that will only capture the MF holdings, right? Because that's a linking to your ARN number, and your ARN number will only have the mutual fund holdings, right? The direct stock exposures, those will not automatically come in or flow into the system. You will have
No.
to either upload that using the NSDL CDSL ECAS statement of the client or manually, as we just discussed.
no, I would like to know that the everyday transaction there is an Excel sheet. So can it be uploaded here? Excel sheet for different customers. So 10 customers did transaction today, and that transaction can be uploaded through Excel. No.
Yeah, hi, this is Arunab. So you don't need to upload any transactions here. All you have to upload are the latest holdings. So whatever the transactions may be, you just have to upload what is their final stock position for each stock. And that's all you need to upload here.
That means the demat holding only. So once
Yes.
the demat updated, then only we can
Yes.
upload.
That's right. So if they bought the stock every day or maybe bought it over a few days, it doesn't matter as long as you upload what they're holding today, because we only look at and analyze your holdings as of today, not the transactions that have led up to it.
So if we see if we bought it in 2019 and hold
Yeah.
it till, so how it can be defined over there?
So it is not defined. So what you will what you will tell our system is that this is my client and he holds these 3 stocks. We do not need to know when they bought that stock because we are not calculating the P&L of your client. What we're doing is we're testing the portfolio as it is today. We are not paying attention to what was done in the past for your client specifically. We're looking at the holdings that your client has as of today, and we're analyzing that.
The mutual fund also, if there is an SIP, so if I have a 50 client and it get regularly updated, then SIP in different dates actually. So,
Yes.
and your RTA data capturing will be on regular basis or on periodical basis?
It's on a regular basis, and it will keep updating to whatever the latest position is as a result of this SIPs. So it will continue to show you what the value of the holding is as of today. Whether it's SIP or lump sum, it doesn't care. It is just going to automatically sync with your RTA and show you what you hold as of today, what each of your clients holds as of today. And then when you run analytics, it is going to deeply analyze your holdings as of what you have today, the latest holdings, because that is the only thing that will affect tomorrow's return. So we don't report on how much money the client has made. We actually analyze much more deeply what the client is holding today and what that means for the future.
Okay, and here in the back office, you have already integrated funds expert. Is there any other options to add any other, or your funds expert only can be done?
So currently we have integrated with Fund Expert. We are in conversation with other back office systems. We are completely open from our end. If you have any other back office software that you're using and you would like an integration to happen, please do let them know. Because from our side, we are happy to integrate with anyone. As long as the back office company is happy to do it, we are more than happy to do it.
No, I am using IFA just for your knowledge. I'm saying that there is an option I can send file to NGEN. I don't know whether you have that integration or not. I've seen over there that there is an option to send file to NGEN.
Oh, so you know what, we can just get in touch with you offline and just have a look at that feature, because maybe we can integrate it further into the platform properly. So Prajakta, can we just take a note and please talk with sir about this?
Yes, sir.
So which back office software did you say you're using?
IFA now.
IFA now, understand. Thank you, sir.
It's over there. I've seen over there that NGEN, file can be transferred to NGEN.
Okay, we'll talk to them and make that make it kind of an official thing, so it can even show up on here. And you won't have to do anything. It will just automatically sync.
So this is basically a research software and the presentation for the presentation to the client about their present holding.
Of course, and it's not just presentation to the clients, it's also for you to analyze your portfolios more deeply, to understand diversification problems, to understand whether the current portfolio that you have for your clients, is it good or can it be improved? It is also useful to basically just navigate the entire universe of mutual funds in India from various different ways to come up with better ideas for your clients. So it is primarily a research tool, and it also has presentation aspects like PDF and PowerPoint reports.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Excuse me.
Good evening. Hello.
Yeah, please.
सर इसमें हम डिफरेंट मेंबर्स हैं, अगर एक फैमिली के 4 मेंबर्स हैं, उनको कंबाइंड एक पोर्टफोलियो में कर सकते हैं?
जी हाँ, यहाँ पे आप ऑन द फ्लाई कर सकते हैं. सो यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे जैसे आरटीए कनेक्शन में है, वो मैनुअल डेटा में भी होगा. but एक load multiple clients करके एक वो box है just before where they're typing here. So here ये click करके आप ये check boxes select कर सकते हैं. जैसे अगर आपको top 4 select करने हैं तो वो सारे portfolios को एक साथ करके आप एक ग्रुप का नाम दे सकते हैं
और इसको सेव कर सकता हूँ.
देखिए ये
every time I will have to do it.
आपको करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि होता क्या है
कोई
कि
बात नहीं.
हम लोग आपका जब डेटा लेते हैं ना आरटीए से तो पिछला डेटा हम पूरा डिलीट कर देते हैं, नया पूरा सेट लेते हैं, तो इसकी वजह से सेविंग
कोई बात नहीं.
ठीक है,
कोई बात नहीं, क्योंकि जो बैक ऑफिस सॉफ्टवेयर है ना उसमें फैमिली का हम ग्रुप बना देते हैं ना, तो उसमें फैमिली का ही आ जाता है.
हाँ जी,
तो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, इसको एनालाइज कर लेंगे इस तरीके से.
ठीक है. अगर हमने देखिए दूसरे बैक ऑफिस से इंटीग्रेशन की तो वहां पे वो फैमिली इंफॉर्मेशन इंपोर्ट हो सकती है, तो वो एक पॉसिबिलिटी है.
नहीं कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है, मैं समझ गया. इसमें लोड मल्टीपल क्लाइंट्स हो जाएगा. ठीक है, ओके, थैंक यू.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Though this doesn't, my query doesn't relate to the portfolio thing. It is relating to the market wrap report which you share.
Yeah.
In that, is it possible to have a column of what is the absolute term by which Nifty or Sensex has changed on a daily basis? Is it possible to have in this PDF?
So absolute, yeah, you mean points, like
in absolute points. What is the change in Nifty, say by 300 points, 200 or 50 points?
Okay.
Because we are showing it in percentage, but actually people love to see the absolute number also. कि आज Nifty कितनी बड़ी, आज Sensex कितनी बड़ी. This was one. Secondly, our team had highlighted this concern to you also earlier also. जो ये India VIX का number है, इसमें daily basis पे NSE की साइड से वेरिएशन रहता है. Almost on a daily basis.
अच्छा, वो डिपेंड करता है ये लोग क्लोज कब लेते हैं, बट वी विल चेक इट आउट बिकॉज इट कुड बी दैट द टाइम दैट वी आर रिकॉर्डिंग द क्लोज ऑफ द विक्स, इंडिया विक्स मे बी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम व्हेन NSE is doing it. So आपने कहाँ से चेक किया था, क्या सोच था?
NSE साइड से, NSE साइड.
ठीक है, we will check this out. We will check to see what the issue is.
Yes, done. Thank you.
Thank you. There is a question on the chat. So we are aware of this issue on Mac computers where the benchmarks are not being selected automatically. So just so you know, we did have a similar issue with the fund screener. And what we had done is we provided an apply button here, which is generally not required, but on some Macs, when you change this drop down, it doesn't affect the change like it is doing over here. So we will just please give us some time and we will come up with a solution to basically show somewhat like an apply button or something like that, where you're able to change benchmarks. Any other questions, please let us know. Okay, if there's nothing else, Anshu and Prajakta, please, we can close for today.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for joining in for today's webinar. I would like to say that we have a dedicated YouTube channel. You can see we have provided a playlist for all the webinars that have been conducted. A total of 94 videos can be seen here. And today's video would also get uploaded by next week. I thank you all for joining in today's webinar. We would meet again next week with a new topic. Thank you. Have a nice new year.